Friends, it will be very useful even our generation also. Adoption of AI is a must because we have to compete with other lawyers. Without assistance of AI, we will become irrelevant. In fact, he is the young man enrolled by me 2 years or 3 years back. Now he become international repute, and I am requesting him to be my mentor in the AI implementation. Thank you. Take Mr. Vishwik.
ये लास्ट है क्या दे रहे हैं ఇంకా కలుసుకోవడానికి వెళ్ళాం టైట్లో ఉన్నాయి చాలా టైట్గా ఉంది రిలాక్స్ ఒక బుక్ లేకపోతే రిలాక్స్ ఎక్స్పర్ట్ సర్టిఫికేట్ ఎక్స్పర్ట్ ఎవరిస్తారని మరి అవన్నీ మీరు తీసుకురమ్మన్నారు.
Good evening, one and all present here. Apologies for taking up your time towards the fag end of the day. A lot of thanks to Damaodaram sir for being a mentor of his own. Also, I had the privilege of being enrolled by him when he was the chairman of Bar Council of Andhra Pradesh as well. And I remember 3 years ago, the first conversation he had with me was, I like the way you're thinking beyond law and you're also looking at the intersection of technology. It is a good combination that you can actually go about, especially when someone so experienced tells you to go ahead with the path you have, which is actually contrarian, which is not normal. It gives you a lot of confidence there. So thank you so much, sir. To all the dignitaries present here, and we had a stellar panel of 3 judges elucidating concepts brilliantly, and it's actually the perfect segue of what I'm going to be talking about in the next 20 odd minutes. I'm going to be covering 4 things specifically, okay? Why is AI important? What exactly is AI? Because my target at the end of the session is like, I am a lawyer, I need to know everything about AI that matters to a lawyer. So I want to be teaching you that. I'll try to do that, you can ask me questions. I'm going to give you an opportunity to ask questions after every single section so that there's going to be a bit of interaction going on, and also the elephant in the room questions come out as well as we go ahead. Okay? So the session is going to be about the transformative impact of AI on the legal profession, and also what sort of business and macroeconomic trends that are going to influence AI, and especially I'm going to give you a certain sets of data points why there is a bit of trouble for lawyers when it comes to AI, but as everything goes, we probably might be having an industrial revolution 2.0, which is led by a lot of experts. Okay, I'm going to be covering multiple ideas here. Don't get lost anywhere. Just pick up the things that are relevant to you, and towards the end, I'll probably have a few sets of actionables and takeaways so that you can actually start implementing in your workflow straight up. Okay. So first, what exactly is AI? The previous session, the esteemed judge covered the hash functions, right? Do you know how exactly the computers work? Computer, when you said hi, how are you? They are going to be talking to a transistor. Internally, that's a component, that's a piece of hardware in the computer by only 0 and 1. And the combination of different zeros and ones becomes hash function, as you've seen there. Okay, it's actually core computers are dictated by how you define 0 and 1 beside each other, and as a combination there. Now, what exactly is AI? AI is a predictive and probability index added to this hash function, where I'm sitting here and I'm like, I want to find the best motor vehicle act lawyer in this room. If I let the computer Google search do, you know what it'll do? It'll go and find the information that is being put out by a third party. But you know what AI will do? AI would use predictive analytics and it'll tell me approximately in that area, sitting at that end of the room, there are 7 experts on Motor Vehicles Act, and there could be 7 of them in a hierarchy. Will tell you these are the metrics I'm counting on, and this is why this particular motor vehicle lawyer is an expert and you can consider. And AI is exactly like that. It is a probability index. It runs probability index on the available information, and then it's going to throw out information. Okay. Now, lawyers, the most favorite thing to do is always be away from technology. You've seen it throughout the history. Okay. But probably right now, I think lawyers are embracing it to a significantly higher level because of 2 reasons. Because of the macroeconomic trend. Okay. What's been happening? Why are we seeing a bit of a downward economic growth? If you see the GDP and all the metrics, right, we are actually seeing an up. But if you talk to the biggest economic experts, they tell you we are seeing a jobless growth economy. What exactly is a jobless growth economy? It's about humans not necessarily are needed in that particular workflow. And I'm going to give you a slightly more gloomy data point. 80% of what we do, right, in terms of work, it's very automatable. And lawyers, it's even more notorious. According to litigation statistics, 70% of litigation in India is more on administration and more on paperwork. It's not necessarily they're ideating on substantive law, they're not formulating great level of arguments also. It becomes a rote law. It just becomes a routine bit of work, and guess what? Who takes over routine work? AI. AI takes over routine work not because it's magic. It's because it's got a predictive index on the whole of internet. On whole of internet, it tells you, hey, exactly this is the information you're giving, and this is the answer for that. Okay, so this is the context I'm setting, trying to get your attention also on why AI is important before I move ahead with that. Okay, what AI can do? I gave you an example. AI is only as good as you break it down into parts. In Dias's jurisprudence book, there's a concept. I'm just giving you my interpretation of it. He said, we trust human beings not because we love them. We trust human beings because we can hold them accountable for an error. Okay? And what does AI do? When AI comes into the fore, it can take over everything possible. But who do you make accountable? If something goes wrong, that's exactly what human relevance in the whole AI world is going to be around. Okay? And in terms of expertise, you're going to only see 10% of people in every profession ideating it to significantly higher level, and the rest of 70% will be more of a reviewer format. And there's nobody better on earth you can trust for reviews than which profession? Legal profession. Because of the knowledge, because of the interdisciplinary sets of skill sets we have, you can trust lawyers to be held accountable in the right framework. You've seen throughout the history, right? Why do lawyers exist? From the time human evolution has been set up, it's because you can hold them accountable. And meanwhile, engineers are more, or let's say engineers or people who are increasing the business models, who are improving the macroeconomic trends. It's more of hacking the economy. It's not necessarily something that would always stay balanced. So there is an important legal skill set we have. But, I want to come back to the previous point. Majority of the work that we do is very automatable. And I'm going to give you another data point that's going to be interesting. The legal tech market is going to be valued at, it's already been valued by KPMG and 2 other the most important consultancy firms. They said it's going to be valued around $39 billion. Okay? Why is it considered $39 billion when you compare it to a random software that was actually killing it in a couple of years ago? It was probably valued $10 billion, but right now it just sunk. It's because AI is taken over. AI is an amplifier. AI is not magic or anything. AI is just an amplifier of an effort. Okay? And it's like you have 10 junior associates with you and you have 20 interns with you. I'm going to show you a couple of examples also, like what AI is capable of. So yeah, I needed some data points. Can you see the screen there? I am using Gemini. This is Google's flagship pro version of it. And the feature is called Deep Research. everybody criticizes AI saying, hey, we can't trust it. It does two things very wrong. One is hallucination, and number two is it doesn't do very well in biases. It has a lot of biases because, I mean, you feed very bad data sets to AI, you're going to get outputs that are biased, right? And interestingly, 3 days ago, Scale AI, which is already valued at $15 billion, is going to be invested even more significantly, close to another $10 billion by Meta. And you know, we literally live in Meta's ecosystem. Yeah, we literally live in Meta's ecosystem there. And they're going to invest, you know why? Scale AI just cleans up data. That's the company. That's the only thing that company does. And I'll tell you what's one thing more and more interesting there. In the last 7 months, there is a hiring downturn that's happened in India. Meanwhile, Scale AI is the only one who hires 20 to 30 openings per week, and guess what ups their jobs? They don't want a lawyer. They don't want a physics expert. They want a physics trainer to train AI. They want a lawyer who will sit and train AI and actually write guardrails for them. So this is the new sets of careers that are coming up. This is where the economy is trending as well. And nothing against the tech world, but there has been a bubble in the recent past where too much of money has been going there, and now it has created such level of automation, we are probably in a reskilling crisis. Okay? It's not gloom or doom, I'm just saying it's an opportunity to move to something even more productive as lawyers. Okay? So take a look at this. This is a Gemini 2.5 Flash Pro. Okay? I was having a chat with Damaodaram garu a month ago. He asked me what he's going to talk about. I gave him that. So what I did was, I pasted my WhatsApp chat history there, whatever I had with Damaodaram garu, and I said, hey, take a look at this. I have a session tomorrow in Vizag for advocate skill development run by Bar Council, and I just threw the context there and I said, give me all the data points that are necessary for me. And then guess, this one, it also gave me a report that said, okay, before I start, is this the research methodology you want me to follow? Okay? And then it threw the perfect data points for me. No hallucination because I can verify every single bit of information here. It cannot. Okay? Now, you'll ask me, oh, do we trust AI blindly? Absolutely not. There's something called the RLHF. This is a very important term that's used in machine learning and AI world. It basically means reinforced learning through human feedback. So what they do is, they sit and they analyze information and they throw an answer, and a human being sits there and takes accountability and says, yeah, this is fine. And as Chakravarti Garu was talking about in the previous sessions, right? He was talking about expert, and he was also talking about human validation. Expert is because you are giving a platform for the best human validator. That is literally what the concept of expert in the legal framework also is. Okay? And human beings become even more important. And thankfully he set up the context so beautifully for me. He explained all the hash functions there. He put it up there. Guess there's a massive trend that's been going on for 8 years. Crypto. Everybody talks about crypto, right? Bitcoin. What exactly is it? It's based on blockchain technology. And what is blockchain technology? Blockchain technology is where in information workflow, untamperable component of the information workflow is the blockchain technology. I'm not going to go into depth around that, but the key crux is nobody can tamper with blockchain. Okay? So imagine a human being has reviewed something and also a new blockchain is created for that particular human being around that. You can't tamper with any AI. Okay? So this is a critical, I would say, sort of a new role also in terms of job market happening. And at the same time, I think all of us as lawyers have to understand this particular perspective there. Okay? Take a look at pre-Word document era. Who were the best lawyers? The lawyers who are willing to write a lot, read a lot, and also have their interdisciplinary skill sets to break down complex topics. And we call that drafting. Okay? And what happened with Microsoft Word? Everybody said that, oh, our output is going up. And it gave at least 10x productivity to lawyers back in the day. And right now, look what AI has done. AI has removed the proficiency of English as a strength. It is not a strength anymore. Proficiency of English is not a strength anymore, and the skill set of drafting is actually about having an interdisciplinary skill set where you can connect the dots that nobody is connecting. How do you come up with the best case law research? It's not based on what the computer throws at you. It's that, oh, when I am formulating and I'm standing in front of a judge, this is the best case law I can substantiate to my case, right? So that skill set with AI, it goes into 100x. Anybody who's thinking interdisciplinary and having their own dots that they're connecting, AI is going to amplify them 100x. It is not something that's going to replace anybody, okay? There is a famous quote that's going around in the last 20, 30, 20 months at least, minimum it has been going on. They said, AI won't replace human beings, but AI will replace human beings that are not using AI. AI will replace human beings that are not using AI. It's going to be trouble. So I'm just saying that it's like you have a Word document with you. Why would you not use Word document? Why would you sit and write and focus on writing beautifully there when you have a Word, Microsoft Word that's been launched? So that's the same framework of thought we need to have with AI. Okay, so yeah, it's given me quite a few. I'll tell you, like, these are the critical concepts. Machine learning is when you throw all the data into one bin and you say, use probability and tell me whatever question I have, give me the best possible answer. That is literally what machine learning is. But till now, the biggest problem of hallucinations and biases I mentioned already, it's because now one data sets, and number two is you don't have guardrails in the code these software engineers are coding. Can someone tell me what's the most important new language for code?
C++.
Python.
No.
C++.
I'm going to surprise you with the answer. English language. English language is the most powerful code language moving forward. It's not because English has become the most important thing. It's because all the data sets on earth are being combined right now, and when you can speak English, or when you can really, someone mentioned algorithm also. What exactly is algorithm? Algorithm is a clear sets of steps to a particular outcome in computer language. So you are trying to reach an outcome. What are the steps that are needed? What are the boundaries you place and everything? This is exactly what. And I mentioned, right, why is AI not doing great? It's because not enough guardrails are built in the prompt. Prompt engineering is probably the most important skill set. I'm sure all of you have heard this enough. Prompt engineering is basically the ability to put your thought down in a very clear, coherent and interdisciplinary manner, and where you're moving out of the box then. If you just want an answer for a normal thing, AI can give you, but something that AI cannot give is interdisciplinary thinking. That is the true essence of human intelligence. We can connect the dots that nobody is connecting, right? I will go. Hallucination issue, biases and data set. Okay, I'm going to start talking about the use cases. I don't want to waste a lot of time. Let's have a question answer session also after that. Vernacularity will be the way ahead. You can draft in Telugu, you can draft in your own language, and even that will be converted to English moving forward. So you don't even have to be an English expert, as a matter of fact. You just have to have a brain that works and where it's connecting dots that nobody is connecting. But, you know what AI has done to today's world? And there's a pattern we are seeing with youngsters already. People are outsourcing their thinking to AI. Earlier, people are outsourcing their work or the amount of effort they are putting to computers, but now people are outsourcing their thinking to AI. And you know what's the most important skill set right now? Deep learning, deep reading, deep learning, deep reading, and actually sitting down and writing. Different sets of frameworks of thought. How is that matching here? How is that not matching here? So once you combine all these skill sets, it's going to be magic. Now, I gave you a lot of gyan. I want to show a bit of practicality there, say what's the power of AI, okay? Is that clear by any chance? Can you read what's written there?
Enlarge.
Enlarge, okay. So this is the legal dashboard we have, okay? We used to publish, our company is a sports media company. We publish close to 300 pieces of content or articles and news on the internet for European Union and the US markets, and it used to take me 1 day to review 40 articles, full-fledged. I'm talking about 9 hours flat. I'm sitting and reviewing every single article that's going on the internet, because what's the risk with media? Defamation. Defamation is straight up risk, all of you know this, right, with media. So we had to review for intellectual property, defamation, and more Google platform algorithm compliance. So we had to do this. So this is slightly complex. It used to take me a day, and I had another lawyer with me. And right now we publish 600 articles per day, and we haven't hired any extra person. And I barely spend 90% of my time there. So my work has gone to 5% or 10% compared to the whole day right now. All I do is every single day come and I check, oh, what are the issues and how do you think I built this? All the legal frameworks of research we had earlier, we fed it to AI, and we clearly gave the boundary, saying that don't cross the boundary here. We're going to succeed. Take a look at this right now. I have a score of 140 because this particular article triggered violence, abuse, death, and negativity index for this article. Look what the article's title is. One more Hendrick backed driver flips over in a skull-crushing crash. In Google platform moderation, that's massive trouble. You're going to be deranked there. Okay? And take a look at the second one. Fans pour in prayers as NASCAR legend makes a call for help in tough times for friends' worsening situation. Is this a legal issue? No. But what exactly is this? This is a negative angle, and for our company, every negative angle we throw out on the internet is bad for the Google algorithm. Okay? And it's not that AI is pulled off magic, it's because humans sat and said that this is the legal framework we have. I want you to go and help me do it even better. That's literally what AI does. It's only as where you push it. You just, sitting in a chair, you say, hey, I have a case today, find me this. It's not going to give you the best case. You would rather say, hey, this is what it is the problem. I don't want you to cross this line. I want you to make sure you have a significantly, you have a threshold of above 80%. And what is your definition of 80%? You should be putting it down there. Okay? And then take a look at this one. I had no hope. UFC fighter reveals darkest chapter in addiction recovery. Okay? Addiction recovery. Remember the keyword there. Look the detection. Look what it detected. Drugs, health and medical, that's straight up Google algorithm violation. That's trouble there. And it's done a brilliant job of giving me score. All I have to do is every day turn up and say that, oh, I have my 3 biggest troubles that have been published. By the way, this has been published only in the last 2-3 hours, and I've got 3 sets of legal trouble. What do? I see this and I ping the department saying that, hey, you are slipping up. Please do not. So that is the power of AI. It has cut my time by 90% and my output has gone into 6. So you're talking about revenue growth and you're talking about also efficiency growth. So if any 2 sets of keywords you have to take away is revenue growth and efficiency growth from AI. There's nothing better than that. Okay. The legal market, I said, right? The legal tech market is already close to, I would say, $10 billion or something like that, the last data point I checked. And vernacularity will be the way ahead. You can speak in your own language. There is a company called Sanjivaiah. It is being funded by Indian government funded NGO agencies, and it's also raised from the best venture capital in India. They've raised close to $100 million there, and all they do is pick the best data sets from Sanskrit to 20 different dialects and make it accessible. So I can even look. I'm not good at writing Telugu as much as what my parents would be for sure. Okay, but I can probably take a look at that and I can say, can you translate all this into English for me and pick out the best system? And there's something called the optical recognition software for that. Okay, it can convert that into English for me and I can give it prompts to draft in Telugu also. And likewise, what if I'm not proficient in English? What if my better strength could be in Telugu? I might as well start drafting in Telugu and that can be converted to English also straight up there. So there is a lot of things going on, and Sanjivaiah they recently launched their product called A1 Legal Workbench. It's literally for drafting and research. I didn't find one feature of theirs very good. It's because they didn't give a predictive score for the accuracy of the case law they're giving. If they give that, they actually reduce liability on themselves. So that's actually a loophole in their company's policy right now. And legal research is not great. Okay, so streamlining document review. This is probably the easiest, honestly, with AI. AI does a brilliant job. It's because it's a large language model. It's using predictability, it's using probability based on language text. It does a very good job in drafting, but it doesn't do a great job in points of truth. That is where your work comes in. Your work is to review the points of truth and to also make sure the whole crux of narrative you're building there, right, comes to the fore, and that is what is explainable AI also. Apologies for the conceptual sidetracking there. This is very interesting what in LexisNexis and Westlaw is launched in the US. They're actually, let's say you have a case with Chakravarti Garu in the next 3 days. It does an analysis of how Chakravarti Garu has given judgments in the last 3 years. What is his behavior to particular laws? What is his behavior to particular sets of advocates? What is his behavior to particular sets of argumentation that's put forth also? It makes a world of difference, right? You're heading to a case and you'll be like, oh, I know how to talk to this judge properly. I know what to approach, what language, what structure, what draft also will tell you. So they're doing a brilliant job by coming up with such tools, and also they've got a hell of a jury profiling software going on in the US. Jury, you're right, it's just 10 human beings are sitting there judging a case. It happens in the US. It's very tricky, but imagine you as a lawyer know, oh, that particular person sitting in the jury hates the trans movement. They hate LGBTQ, okay? Or you can say, oh, this particular person is very passionate about female rights. And you know what lawyers are pulled off? Lawyers are deliberately going and arguing, saying that, hey, this particular person, whoever the supposed convict is saying, hey, he's very passionate about female rights. So, I mean, I'm just talking about the negative aspect of AI also, but it does a great job in profiling, it does a great job in data orientation. And more importantly, it's just one takeaway. I would say that you get information to you far faster than what you would get normally. I think that's the big takeaway here. And you can get rid of all the mundane, useless and boring tasks. You can do a lot more substantive law interpretation. You can focus a lot on interdisciplinary thinking. I have a hot take. I still cannot validate this enough, but I think this is probably the first time where non-technical people will play a big part in technology revolution moving forward. It's because the language is English right now with code. And it's going to be very easy. I mean, by the way, I need little more internet speed for this. I can just, for example, I was doing a product roadmap or something, it'll create an app in 5 minutes. I just need the fast internet, I can't do it right now. But it'll create an app in 5 minutes for anything and everything. I don't have to code. I don't know one word of code also. It'll provide. All I have to do is tell it, hey, this is the use case I want, create the best design. I can even say copy WhatsApp format also. It'll literally copy the design and it'll give me that, and it'll tell me what use case I need to. I can even build that. And I'm sure everybody can pull this off also. It's not because I'm a genius, but I'm just saying that AI is capable of pulling it off. Okay, it's just about spending time with it, getting used to it and understanding what the power of AI is. And if you believe and blindly trust in AI and getting your work done very quickly, that's going to be trouble as well. In the US recently, someone was in the court for using a fake hallucinated case law that AI threw them. Okay? And they went and presented and they were fighting the case. Their lawyer gave another hallucinated case law. And like, what is the point? It's because the whole day they were busy. They're like, oh, I want to churn out information faster. But why do human beings trust lawyers? Lawyers is because you got the neck if something goes wrong, right? It's accountability framework. And if these sets of people itself are making mistakes, then that's going to be trouble. So use AI in a lot more friendly manner. Understand that human in the loop, this is a software term, human in the loop is probably the most important thing moving forward. Irrespective of where the industry heads, we need to have this purview that, oh, human in the loop only comes when you can review information and you have expertise that nobody has. Yeah. And you can have expertise that nobody has, okay? And enhancing e-discovery. This is a brilliant use case going on. Chakravarti Garu was talking about electronic records and evidentiary standards, and even I think there was a session prior to that also talking about evidence, the esteemed judge. What AI can do is it can literally go and scrape through all the information and the exact sets of evidences that are important for your case. It's all about you giving it the right data set. Just say that, oh, go to Westlaw and go and pick case laws only from there, right? It does a brilliant job. But then you say, hey, I have this case, go pick a case law. It's going to go into a random part of the internet. It's going to pick you the worst possible case law. You'll probably lose a career itself there. So you want to be really looking towards the direction you want to head, understand what data sets are important for your case, okay? And you connect them to something called the